What is going on, everybody? So I'm back today to review a film that I actually saw a lot of people on Twitter and Letterboxd talking about, and I know this movie was really genuinely well received, and because of the subject matter of the film, I was really excited to watch it because this is really like a movie that feels like it would be catered to my personality. And so I really looked forward to diving into this one. And the movie I'm going to be discussing today is Dinner in America. Dinner in America is directed by Adam Rehmeier. An on-the-lam punk rocker and a young woman obsessed with his band go on an unexpected and epic journey together through the decaying suburbs of the American Midwest. So I was really excited to watch this movie because I am a big fan of Kyle Gallner. He's been in the horror scene for a really long time, and every time I see Kyle show up in a movie, despite if I like it or dislike it, I always really appreciate his performance. I really enjoyed him last year in Smile. I thought he did a really great job. Scream 5, or whatever they called it, he did a really great job in that for the time that he was in the movie, and I always really appreciate his performance. And I am a huge fan of movies that center themselves around music. I really love films that have music as kind of like an underlying theme, and especially like the punk hardcore scene. I always get really into those types of movies, and I really did not like this movie at all. I was really hopeful for it. I read a lot of comments from people I really respect, and I was really hoping that this would be something that I would fall in love with, and I found most of this movie, about 75 to 80% of it, to be an incredibly miserable experience to sit through. So I'll get into talking about it a little bit now. So we're introduced to Kyle Gallner's character at the beginning of the film. He's a part of some study where he's supposed to get paid a specific amount of money to test run this drug. They end up shorting him money. He ends up going home with one of the girls that's at the test. He ends up flirting with her mom and ending up lighting their front porch on fire, essentially, and he's running from the cops, and he ends up, through a specific set of circumstances, meeting Patty, played by Emily Skeggs, who's very quiet, mild-mannered, made fun of by virtually everyone that she runs into, and the two of them form this sort of unlikely bond together, and the movie plays off from there. So what I didn't like about this movie is every character in this film is so unlikable in the worst way imaginable. Kyle Gallner's character is really obnoxious. He's throwing around slurs every other line, which I know movies that take place in certain time periods like to play around with those concepts, but it just got to the point where it felt like it was trying so hard to be edgy. And the characters in this that are supposedly part of this punk scene didn't really seem to understand the punk scene. As someone who's gone to shows my entire life and have really been ingrained in the punk, metalcore, all these different genre scenes, this movie didn't really feel like it understood what those are supposed to feel like. And it just came off as really obnoxious. I understand utilizing certain words and things from different time periods to convey a specific level of emotion, but Kyle Gallner's character never comes around as someone who is likable. There's never a moment in this entire movie where I'm like, wow, I'm really rooting for him to turn it around, because he's just a person who feels like he's been fucked by the system, and so because of that, he just acts like an asshole. And even when he starts to develop a relationship with Patty's character, which it's really interesting to see how she's conveyed. I'm not sure if they were trying to play her off as this really repressed character that her parents have just kind of shut her off from the world. She takes all these prescription pills, which implies to me that she has either a learning disability or that there's some mental health issues going on there. And it's just more she's obsessed with this guy, and he's like, you're my girl now. And it's that old cliche that doesn't really seem to hold up anymore. If there was something about his character that truly attaches onto her, with the exception of the last 15 minutes where she sings this song that they make together, I don't really see any sort of emotional depth to either one of these characters, other than oh, they're causing some trouble. And most of that doesn't even come into play until the last 30 minutes of the movie. The first hour of this film is fucking insufferable. It's just miserable people being miserable. Most of the humor doesn't land at all. It just becomes really obnoxious after a while. And I don't know, I was expecting some kind of charm or entertainment entertainment value. I think of a movie similarly to this one, Hesher, with Joseph Gordon-Levitt, where Joseph Gordon-Levitt plays Hesher, who's this kind of like down on his luck metalhead, but his character has so much more depth and heart, and there's so much more interesting things about him, even though he really is this horrible asshole through most of the movie. And there's a dichotomy to his character that makes us want to attach ourselves onto him and makes us want to continue watching that film. This movie just gave me nothing to attach onto to these characters. The punk music that was written for the film wasn't really all that good either, so there really wasn't a lot making me invested in this, and I kind of just left feeling like, why does this exist? And that's really upsetting, because I wanted to love this because of how many of the people in this movie I really respect and think are great actors, and it just fell short for me. So I would skip this one, but you can give it a try on your own and see if you like it. So have you seen Dinner in America? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Leave me a comment down below and let me know what you thought. I thought this movie was really underwhelming. I wanted to love it so much, and I just ended up thinking it wasn't that great. As always, if you can like the video and subscribe to the channel, it helps me out a lot and lets me know the type of content you're looking for. I'm always putting out new material and look forward to getting more out for you in the near future. And as always, everyone, thank you so much for watching, and have a great rest of your day.